Hey, what's going on, folks? It's Larry at Packmasters Dog Training. Hope everyone's doing well and being safe during this crazy, crazy time. During this time that we've pretty much been on lockdown, pretty much everywhere, right? I've talked to a ton of people, ton of people over the phone. I've done a ton of consultations with everyday dog owners and a lot of trainers also. All right. And so many of the problems that people are dealing with can be changed so easily, guys. I can't even explain to you. So I'm making this video now. You see, I don't do a lot of these whole car talk things anymore, but I think it's got to be said. It's so important because people are failing miserably when you don't have to, okay? When you just don't have to. In a nutshell, I'm going to tell you one thing that is destroying people, dog trainers too, that are struggling with issues. And that is giving a dog that has any kind of behavioral issue at all, anything, whether it's just a young, rambunctious, out of control dog to more serious issues. The one common denominator I see from so many people is way too much freedom for the dog. Way too much freedom. There is no control there. Makes it very, very difficult for the dog to change, okay? I remember conversations I used to have a while back with people, with trainers. Used to call me and ask me about some of the board and trains. And the question would always be, what are you doing that these dogs look so different in a week's time? Okay, that's what they want to know. What are you doing that they look so different? And I would tell them everything. And a lot of the responses I would get was, you're full of shit. There's something else that you're not talking about. And I say, no, there's not. There's no other secret. But what most people focus on, let's talk about dog trainers first, okay? What I see with a lot of dog trainers, especially young dog trainers, is they focus on teaching the dog things. They focus on obedience. They focus on commands. They focus on tools. Come, sit, down, place, all that stuff. That's where the focus goes to, okay? That's part of a training program, there's no doubt, guys. But for me, it's the least important part. And that is not going to get you the respect and the engagement that you're looking for. It's just not. It's not going to get you enough, and it's not going to fix those behavioral problems. It's just not going to do it, okay? And then with the everyday dog owner, as most of you know, well, most of them do everything wrong. I mean, absolutely everything. It blows me away that a lot of times I'll be talking to a dog owner, not a dog trainer, and they'll say the dog does this, the dog does, how do I stop that? And I'll ask them a simple question. Okay, well, what have you done to try to stop it? And a lot of times they'll say nothing. They'll literally say nothing. Well, the dog's not going to stop on its own. Or they'll say, I tell the dog no in a firm voice when they're doing it. Again, that's not going to stop a dog from doing anything. The dog don't care about your language. It's not theirs. Okay? So the biggest difference that I see what a lot of people aren't doing, that I do with every single dog, is when I get, and I'm not talking about my own dogs, because once they're trained, they're I lighten the ropes a lot, all right? But with the client dog guys, when they come in here, everything is given through me. Absolutely everything, okay? That's the quickest way to the dog's brain, whether they have behavioral issues or they don't. Everything comes through me, and that means that everything comes through the leash, all right? So even though I have a fenced-in backyard, a client's dog doesn't come out of their pen and then get released in the yard to go to the bathroom and run around until there's a really, really solid foundation there, and the dog basically believes that it lives here. It's part of our home. It's part of our pack. It's my dog, okay? Because up until that point, a leash goes on the dog in the pen. I walk the dog to the door opens, the dog respects that space and waits. Then we go outside, and when I get to the grass, again, the dog waits, respects that space. It looks to me for guidance, and I say free dog, and then on a long leash, the dog can go be a dog, can walk around and sniff and pee and poop and do all that stuff. And when I decide it's time, then the dog is back with me under control. Even the dog's water, not all dogs. If I'm having trouble with a problem dog, even the water becomes a reward, and it's given through me. Okay? I'll give you an example. My own dogs. I don't have a water bowl in my house, in my kitchen, or anything like that. The water bowl is in the garage, and water is given as needed by me. And there's a couple of reasons for that. A lot of the more drivey dogs, like if I put a bowl of water, give it to Luca, and just say, go ahead, drink away, he'll drink the whole thing no matter how large the bowl is, and then just throw it up all over the place. He can't handle that, you know? He does everything full bore. And so that water is given, and then I say, hey, that's enough. When I know he's drinking enough, it's not because I'm being stingy. It's because I know he can't make that decision to stop before he drinks too much, okay? So the same thing with the client dog. After they go to the bathroom and they do all that thing, then I walk them over to the water bowl. They wait, they respect that space, and I say, free dog. Now the dog can drink if it wants, and it could drink all it wants. You understand what I'm saying? But the dog is always on a leash and under control. So with all you folks that I talk to on a daily basis, okay, every single day, I've talked to, I don't know, probably anywhere between 6 and 10 people a day for the past couple of weeks, all right? All that are having problems, some of them not very difficult problems to solve. But the first thing you have to do before we go any further is get control of the dog, all right? You have to. The dog has to start looking to you for everything. This isn't a bad thing, guys. This isn't going to hurt your dog's feelings. You're not going to make your dog sad. You understand what I'm saying? Your dog will love you for it, and more importantly, it will respect you for it, but the dog needs it. The dog needs you to step up and take control so it has someone to look to and know that it's going to be taken care of in all situations. So you folks that struggle out on the walks, when you see other dogs and people, and you struggle with reactivity and aggression, you're not going to fix that until the dog can look to you for guidance. Because if your dog's blowing up at dogs on the walk and you're having those kind of issues, and no matter what you do or say, the dog gives you the middle finger, that just means there's no trust there, there's no respect. That dog doesn't understand that you can provide what it needs in all situations. You don't fix those problems on the walk when you see dogs. You fix those problems in the home by taking control of everything and starting to teach the dog to look to you for all that is good, okay? You have to. The things that you don't like, the dog's getting out of control in the home, you got to stop it. You have to stop it. That leash is the best tool we have, okay? It is your translator. It tells the dog what you want, and it's your GPS. It shows the dog where you want it. So, of course, one of the more popular questions I get, always refer back to the e-collar. Anything from, how old does my dog need to be before I can start the e-collar? You know, to, my dog is doing this, will an e-collar fix this? For the first question, how old does my dog need to be? First of all, I see dogs that are 12 weeks old with an e-collar on. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely sickening to me. I won't even deal with someone like that. Okay, I won't deal with someone like that. Your dog is ready for more advanced training and tools like an e-collar when the foundation is really, really strong and your dog knows all the basics inside and out on leash, and your dog looks to you, it trusts you, it respects you, okay? The e-collar question, it's less about your dog and more about you. So the question shouldn't be, when is my dog ready to use an e-collar? It should be, are you ready to use an e-collar? Because it's not a magic tool, guys, where you put this on a dog and you start pressing buttons. You're not going to understand by reading the manual in an e-collar box and think that you're ready to use the tool. It's not going to happen like that. Okay? You have to get back to the basics. How many dogs don't understand the basics? On leash, come, sit, down, off, place, leave it, out. All the simple things. You have to master that stuff in all situations. So when I get questions about advanced obedience to me is just the basics done really well in all situations. If your dog can do the basics in all situations on leash, do you need anything else? No, you don't. There'd be no more dogs in the shelters if all dogs understood the basics very well. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have to get back to the most simplest fundamentals. Everybody wants to give affection. No one wants to give direction. I get people that say when I give my dog treats, they get out of control and that. Why are you giving your dog treats? That's not for your dog, that's for you. Stop with the treats. Stop with the love. Stop with the affection and give the damn dog what it needs. Because you're destroying your dog. And it's getting old dealing with it over and over and over. If your dog knows how to do something, if I give you a dog back and your dog knows the basics very well, make the dog do it. Because the dog is going to test you if it feels weakness, if it sees weakness. It's going to go back to testing you if that's what it's used to doing. Step up and make the dog do what you want. That's not a harsh thing. Okay, that doesn't come from being a dictator or harsh or overly rough with your dog. It comes from strong guidance, very strong guidance. Put the leash on the dog and stop allowing the dog to do all the things that are creating the chaos in your home. Please, you got to do it. You have to do it. Get back to basics and try to understand how the dog learns. What do you have to do to allow the dog to understand what you're trying to tell it? Because they don't understand our language. Theirs is very, very simple and very basic. So all the bullshit baby talk and the, silly voices and the doing these dumb things, you're really screwing your dog up. And if you have an issue with your dog, if your dog has any kind of behavioral problems, and you're allowing the dog 100% freedom inside the home to go where it wants, do what it wants, eat when it wants, drink when it wants, get up on the couch when it wants, get on your bed when it wants, you might as well just either live with the problems or get rid of your dog. Because it's not going to get any better, and it's usually going to get worse. Basics, fundamentals, okay? In a sports scenario, think of Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan. What did they work on their whole careers? Kobe Bryant, right? Basics, the mastery of the basics, the fundamentals. Without the fundamentals, you can't do the advanced. Stop worrying about the tools, stop worrying about the advanced, and work on the basics. Now, with that being said, if you have a problem with your dog, you have behavioral problems, I'm all for you trying to work on new things and advance the dog's knowledge. But it has to come separate from that solid basic foundation with the leash. No off leash for your dog, okay? You put it on a strong training regimen. When the dog is with you, it's on leash. When it's not with you, it's crated. Because the freedom is the ultimate reward, and that has to come through you. Everything has to come through you, okay? I hope this clears things up a little bit. So when I get those questions now, I'm just going to send this video. Peace.